Alright, this is the iPad Pro M5, where they released it secretly with just a press announcement. So let's get right into it. But before we do, thank you guys so much for clicking on this video, and you are watching TG's World. Hope you guys like this video and make sure to subscribe. Alright, let's get into the specs and the details of this very iPad. But now let's look at the unboxing. In the box, we get the Apple Pencil. The tabs are going to be out. Now let's pull out the box to unveil the Apple Pencil. Let's take the top out, and now let's actually take out the Apple Pencil. Let's put the top back out, the box back in, and let's unbox the Apple Pencil. The Pencil Pro is being taken out of its cover, and there we have it. That's the Pencil Pro. Now let's unbox the iPad Pro 13-inch with the M5 chip. There's the box. Now we see the PRO on the top, but now let's take out the tabs that are on the top and the bottom. This is the base model 256 gigs with the normal display, and I don't have cellular on this, so it's just a Wi-Fi model. There we have it. That's the iPad. That is the iPad, the front and the back. But let's look at what's inside the box. That's how we have the actual Apple packaging, the charging cable and the brick, but now we have that. Let's now unbox the iPad itself. So for that we have to take out the paper out. Perfect. And now that is the iPad. That's the glass. But now let's turn it over and let's look at the back. And yeah, that is the iPad Pro itself. But after the unboxing, let's look at the iPad itself. On the back of the iPad, you do see that the iPad Pro labeling is missed, and you have these 3 dots where that would connect to your Magic keyboard that comes along with this iPad, but you have to purchase it separately. That costs around 300 or 400 as per the shooting of this video, and you do also get the Apple Pencil Pro, which it is an additional $130 at the time of this video. The iPad Pro has its camera bump on the top, and so does the Apple Pencil. After their M2 Apple iPad release, they had to move some magnets to rearrange so that the camera can go on the top or the landscape view, and it can also have the Apple Pencil stick with it so that it can charge. That is most probably what you're probably going to see as a subtle change on the outside. But now let's get into the inside. The iPad Pro comes with an M5 chip where it contains 10-core CPU with 4 performance and 6 efficiency, and a 10-core GPU with a 3rd gen ray tracing technology. This comes with 16-core neural engine all packed in this very iPad. This iPad is really powerful. This has basically enough technology for it to be counted as a MacBook, but with its software updates, iOS 26, this has that technology where your Stage Manager is your next-gen MacBook. The inside contains a faster M5 chip, as I already mentioned, with accelerated AI features and doubled SSD speeds. This also increased the base RAM, now at 12 gigabytes on their 256 and their 512 models. And Apple also released their new C1X modem with their Wi-Fi 7, which is also the N1 chip. This now also supports the 120Hz external displays that you can connect with adaptive sync and fast charging while keeping the same thinness of their M4 iPad Pro. And as I already told you, the text on the back is also gone. So all of these changes are all the inside. Some people might say you might not see much, but these are all the changes that have been made for the M5. You might not use all this, and the power on this is crazy. And most people might not even get to 95% or at least 10% of its capability using the iPad Pro M5. But power users might actually get it worked. This is almost as equal to the Apple MacBook lineup and better than majority of their devices right now. Vision Pro also comes out with the M5 chip, which it already did, and this is its second model that came out with the M5 chip. The main difference between the Apple M4 iPad Pro and the Apple M5 iPad Pro is its larger AI models and its compatibility with external 120Hz display and the heavy disk input and output. But some people might say that's not something that they need to upgrade to their M5 iPad Pro. Now, about their fast charging capability, Apple now came out with their fast charging capability, as I told you, and from 0 to 60, you could charge in 30 minutes using a 60 watt or higher charger on your iPad. Comparing this chip to its previous gen models like M1, M2, A12Z, and M4, M5 compares that it's 14% faster in terms of CPU and 35% faster in terms of its GPU to its previous gen model M4. But comparing this to its M2 model, M5 is 1.7 times faster, M1 is 2 times slower than the M5 chip, and the A12Z is 3.5 times slower in terms of its M5 chip. And all of those comparisons were in terms of its CPU. But now getting to its GPU, M5 is 1.6 times faster than the M2, 2.2 times faster than M1, 4 to 4.3 times faster than A12Z. And all of those comparisons were made in terms of its GPU. But coming to iPad OS 26, this has finally made a justifiable change in terms for its iPad M5 chip. As they quote, Pro. So this brings at Mac OS like features like the top bar, the menu bar, and its minimize, full screen, and close tab or window features as they had in the Mac OS. This is much smoother and glossier in terms of its iPad OS 26. Personally, I do like the glass, the liquid glass, and this has a better change in terms of its previous changes across the over 3 years or 4 years. This is a justifiable change to their software. The M5 chip also has better background capability of exporting a movie, a video, whatever it is, to background actions. So you could just swipe out and you do still have that running in background at the same speed that you would have it run when you are still on the app. That has multiple people asking for that feature, and Apple has finally given it. And yeah, those are majority of the features for this iPad M5. But now let's talk about the Apple Pencil Pro. The Apple Pencil Pro is powered by a haptic motor at the top, and majority of the tasks do involve it. buzzing, and that is all powered by the haptic motor right up here. The squeeze feature does work using the haptic motor and the pressure sensitivity when you press the Apple Pencil. Those features are something that I really liked while writing with the Apple Pencil Pro, and there is also a feature called barrel roll. Barrel roll is where when you roll your pencil, you do see how you're gonna write. Like if I use a normal pen, you know how you're gonna write because you look at it and you can write however you want. And if it's like a flat tip pen, like a highlighter in this case, you do know that the highlighter is pointing vertically rather than horizontally. So vertically, you do see that using the hover feature. The hover feature is a fantastic feature that Apple introduced this Apple Pencil with. This feature has been great while I've been using the Apple Pencil Pro, and as to say, I'm really impressed with the changes that Apple made with the Apple Pencil Pro. Alright, that is it for my review of the iPad Pro M5 and the Apple Pencil Pro. I hope to guys see you next time because... Alright, thank you guys for watching and meet you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed this review of the Apple iPad and the Apple Pencil Pro. I hope you guys learned a lot using this video, and I hope this made your choice easier of what you want to buy, comparing this to the iPad M4 or the iPad M5. Alright, thank you guys for watching and meet you in the next one. Until then, peace.